Holy crap. Hashtag wrestling is life, and Triple H is the overlord that protects us all. Okay, maybe not really, but this is Wrestling is Life, and we're breaking down the WWE UK Championship Tournament. Swish, Triple H. Alright, so I'll be honest with you. When they first announced the UK Tournament, I went, hey, where are they going to go from here? What's Triple H going to do? Is he having a weekly show? So many questions were being asked. And here's the thing. I wanted to do this in character. Hashtag wrestling is life. Because it's not necessarily a parody movement. Everybody's been asking me, what's up with the accent? Well, in Wrestling is Life, I've focused on the good side of wrestling. The things that make me happy, the things I enjoy. Well, looking away from the negative stuff and trying to do it in a funny, positive way to better myself. And then Triple H comes along and makes a goddamn wrestling show that blows my mind. And it's pretty obvious that when Triple H gets the company, he knows what he's doing. Because here's the thing. You're just giving us what we want. You may be doing it slow or you're doing it in a different way, but ultimately you're making the fans happy. Whether we're paying through tournaments, network subscriptions, whatever, Triple H seems to have his finger on the pulse at least. Now, that's the thing though. WWE doesn't always have to go the way we want as fans, especially paying fans, but last night's UK Tournament, let me explain why it was amazing, okay? Now, you see back there Triple H, but it was never about Triple H, except for one big point. And this is what I said a couple weeks ago. Triple H's goal is to have this ever-connected universe, and that's what's so amazing about this, because in the tournament, it also followed the same guys of what's happening on Raw and SmackDown. When Pete Dunne, the badass motherfucker Pete Dunne, the amazing Pete Dunne, words cannot describe how amazing Pete Dunne is and how far he can go. I will say this. When I was doing the writer's room, and if you don't know what the writer's room is, that's where I'm kind of looking at the writing, what's happening on TV, listening to Michael Cole and Nigel give audio cues, like when Wolfgang's knee got hurt. I'm trying to figure out story-wise, logically, where they could go if I was writing it. And that's where Triple H blew my mind. In the CWC, you had a couple different ways you could go. And then in the WWE UK Tournament, though, it was like, it was logical. You had former tag team partners, you had the young underdog as Tyler Bate, and I overlooked a lot of stuff, and ultimately it made this great storyline. You had Pete Dunne attacking dudes. Now, when Pete Dunne attacked him, Triple H was the one that made the ultimate decision, and that's what I'm talking about. It's an ever-connected universe, because in this, Triple H gave favorite to the heel, and the heel did damage. But ultimately, even though he gave power to the heel the whole tournament by allowing him to continue, Tyler Bate overcame. This is what I've said all along for WWE this year. Right now on TV, Braun's getting the big push. You got Charlotte and Sasha on top, but really it's about the underdog underneath, Sami Zayn, Bayley, etc. And that's where Triple H nailed this tournament. You had focusing on injuries, you had spots, you had stories, you had one tournament that could essentially, if you're doing a weekly UK show, can spawn storylines from just this tournament. I mean, Wolfgang beat one tag team partner but couldn't beat the other one, and Tyler Bate went on to win. Maybe there's some dissension between Tyler Bates, Trent Seven, and the whole group. I mean, let's think about it. Pete Dunne's photo, and I didn't know this when I was trying to write this out, Mustache Mountain. I didn't even realize he was in Mustache Mountain. I was like, duh. Didn't even realize it. And then you see the photo. And then I tweeted out last night, though. The one thing I tweeted out last night saying was, this won't work in the WWE. Because I don't think US fans would appreciate this. And here's why. I made that statement, a lot of people said, well, look at the CWC. There's fans that would cheer for internet guys or local guys, like PWG, etc., which is true. But the one big difference I know is the UK fans tend to get rowdy and crazy, but at least they're supporting the wrestlers. And that's the big difference I know. US fans go to shows. Let me rephrase that. I picture it in my mind. And UK fans, you can tell me if this is true. I feel UK fans go to the pubs with these wrestlers. They know them. They interact with them. And that way they know how good of dudes they are, and they support them in the ring to get them over, so they can go to all these other promotions. And that makes the promotions better. In the US, it's, man, I may really like him. I'm going to kind of, show him a favorite, but ultimately I paid my money, so I should get to control what happens. And that's a flawed mindset, in my opinion, because the UK crowd put him over. Now, they were rowdy, they were obnoxious. At some points, they took away from what was happening in the ring, but for the most part, they were putting over the action. And that's what I loved. And that's what Triple H kind of needs to do. And that's why Triple H is a genius, to be honest with you. Because instead of bringing in a bunch of talents from all over the world and bringing them to NXT and trying to get the NXT fans to love him and put him over, Keep them in their own markets, like the UK tournament. Have these UK tournaments or tournaments all around the world that allows local promotions to work together to build up these talents, to cultivate, and ultimately they'll come to the WWE. WWE, in turn, helps promote those local promotions and helps grows them. WWE is like rebuilding a territory system under Triple H, and it's phenomenal. Now, as a joke, he could be doing this because he knows Donald Trump's going to shut down the borders. Hey, I don't know. But last night, let's go over the tournament. So last night, for Tyler Bate to get to the main event, if you pull up the phone, on the bracket, Tyler Bate had to go through Tucker, Jordan Devlin, Wolfgang, and then ultimately beating Pete Dunne. Why is this important? Because let's look at how the bracket was set up in the UK tournament. You had Mark Andrews versus Dan Maloney, James Drake versus Joseph Connors, Pete Dunne, Roy Johnson, Sam Huxley, and Sam Gradwell. On the right side, you were focusing on the heels, ultimately having an underdog face. Mark Andrews? My God, Mark Andrews did more in this tournament than TNA ever allowed him to do, and unfortunately, that goes both ways now. TNA is using WWE superstars in ways they never used them, and WWE is using TNA superstars in ways they've never used them. Because it's about now, what I've said all along, finding what the talent can do best and not limiting the talent. Mark Andrews proved last night that he is destined for bigger and better things. Just like Pete Dunne, just like Tyler Bate, just like everybody in the tournament. When the wrestlers start taking it into their own hands, it's magical and it's crazy. Look at Gabe. Gabe Sapolsky tweeted out last night the picture of William Regal. When William Regal was in character last night and tried to come out and break up Pete Dunne and pull him off, you could see the scorn on William Regal's face, the true heel, the true William Regal. And he's pulling him away and he's pissed off, and Pete Dunne is running to the back. Then comes time for the main event after Neville and Tommy End. And what happens? William Regal is in the middle of the ring, and his scorn, the continuity to this. After Pete Dunne being the bruiser, attacking post-matches, doing everything, William Regal's in the ring like, you son of a bitch. You're going against everything I've said. How dare you? That just set the tone for Tyler Bate when he won to be even better. Those little things is something that Raw and SmackDown has in parts that a lot of us are overlooking because we think Raw just sucks. Now, it's true. There's a lot of shit on Raw, and it's easier to notice the greatness in like a UK tournament. And that's the problem, man, because the UK people killed it. Let's look at this tournament. Because ultimately, Pete Dunne, getting himself over as a heel, if Pete Dunne came in looking like the way he is now to the US, you'd be like, I don't really see that guy. He's acting tougher than he is. But in the UK, where the fans fully know him, they know how much of a badass he is. They probably went to the pub with him and saw him beat some dudes up. They can help get him over, and that's what the crowds have to do. And I think that's what Triple H is realizing. Keeping them in their same markets and letting them get over and hyped and be as big as they possibly can before they transition to us is what they should do. I think Triple H putting everything on the network, allowing it to grow and cultivate, and then ultimately the fans choosing who's coming over is a lot smarter than signing all these guys to NXT, having them relocate, and maybe having them work or not work, and then releasing them down the road. Right? That's what I love. That's why everything that Triple H is doing right now is great. They're allowing these guys to continue to work for local promotions. The rumor was they were getting paid about $20,000 a year to be involved with WWE, but they could still work at other promotions. At least that's what Meltzer said. And Meltzer's never wrong, so let's be honest here. Triple H, you killed the UK tournament. Tyler Bate, you got him more over as a face and a good guy than you ever could have anyway. I mean, it was just phenomenal to watch him overcome. And that's where I got the red herring. Because Wolfgang in the match had his knee attacked on the outside. And ultimately when Wolfgang would overcome the knee, I was like, yes, that's psychology. Great, we're going to keep coming back to it. And in the next match, they brought it back. But ultimately, he would lose. And once he lost, that was the post-match beatdown from Pete Dunne. So they fooled me with the red herring. And that's what great writing is. When I can logically think out a storyline from Raw and SmackDown and kind of know the ending, I'm going, okay, I can see where they're coming from. But when I can watch a UK tournament, have logical places to go, and then they even swerve me, I'm in heaven. And that's where Triple H is killing it. And that's where I want more of this. I want more shows that allow the talents to be the talents. I want Triple H to be able to scour the globe and realize what makes that person special, and then show it and captivate it to the world on something like the WWE Network. And that's what Triple H is doing. So last night you had Mandrews get over. Called him Mandrews. I did. I just did. You had Trent Seven, Mustache Mountain. some of the most charisma I've ever seen in my life. Trent Seven is going to be a big deal. That's just, oh my God, I can't tell you that. I love that. The charisma oozes out of Trent Seven. I actually think, now this may be stupid, but Trent Seven and Cassius Ohno would be sweet. I also think that maybe WWE and Triple H never had a falling with Cassius Ohno, because Cassius Ohno tweeted out a picture of his match with Tyler Bate. What if Cassius Ohno, conspiracy theory, was just sent around the world to find all these talents? Because Triple H knew he was special. Maybe he was on the payroll the whole time. But anyway, last night, So you had stars. Tyler Bate, Jordan Devlin, Trent Seven, Wolfgang, Sam Gradwell, Pete Dunne, Joseph Connors, and Mark Andrews. Now, I'm not taking away from anything everybody else in the tournament, but the people that were able to shine through, shined. And that's what made them so amazing. The moves, the finishers, the interaction. But more importantly, the stuff that went around in the tournament. Triple H allowing Pete Dunne to continue. The creator, as they quoted Triple H, with it. William Regal's interaction. Michael Cole on commentary. Can I not stress this enough? Michael Cole is an elite commentator. Michael Cole is not an elite commentator when WWE has him shilling stuff or he's in his ear micromanaging him. And that's where Michael gets a bad rap. Because last night's tournament, Michael Cole proved, without question, he's a top 10 commentator. He absolutely is. He brought so much to the action with Nigel McGuinness last night that's where Michael Cole shines, and that's what Triple H is doing best. He's not doing anything super revolutionary or super out of this world. He's allowing the people that make his company what it is to shine through. And to us fans, it just feels like we're getting what we always wanted. But really, they're getting what they've always wanted. Legit talent that are getting themselves over, which in some aspects is bad, right? Because WWE doesn't want talents to get themselves. WWE doesn't want to get themselves. That's been the adage. WWE doesn't want talents to get themselves over, and those talents that do, there's always some resentment towards that. Now, that may have been the case before, but look at something like the UK. When WWE is trying to grow their ever-expanding business, it's not a bad thing if you have some stars that make themselves, like on last night's NXT special. I mean, Pete Dunne, he's a star. Tyler Bate, he's a star. And they did it. And with the help of a whole cast and crew, though. The announcing, the interaction with Regal, the crowd, it was one cohesive unit. And that's what made it great. So hopefully going forward, Triple H does more of this. Hopefully there is more story. There's more build-up. There's more reasons for what's happening and allowing the talent to shine. Because if this continues, WWE is headed in the right direction. Because you're not forcing any kind of style on people. You have choice. If I like the WWE style, I'll watch a WWE style on the network. If I like watching the UK style, I can watch the UK style on the network. And that's what wrestling is. That's why wrestling is life. Because there's many different kinds of wrestling, and I could choose to watch this, or that. But at the end of the day, there's just one common goal. Wrestling. And that's why Triple H in the UK tournament, in my book, gets a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10, the best rating I can possibly give it. He allowed the talents to shine. He allowed the people that he put into power to get the results. And that's what makes Triple H so smart. He's not forcing anything. He kind of knows what he's doing, and he's letting the talent shine. And that's what a good boss does. So Triple H, thank you for everything you're doing. Keep going. And that UK tournament last night, my God, Pete Dunne. He's going to be a badass bruiser. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is wrestling is wrestling. My name is Tubby Emu. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And until next time, we will see you all later.